A lot of people listening to this are good at talking to the sellers. They're confident in their ability to close deals, but they realize that sales, especially when they got on their own, they realize that sales in itself is not enough. You have to be able to generate leads and you have to be able to piece together the different parts of the puzzle to create an entire business. And my guest today, Aman Khan, was a successful acquisitions manager for a wholesaling company in Miami. He was doing really well, but he felt like he just needed more. So today we're going to break down his story of how he went from working for another wholesaler to starting his own business, joining the One Call Away community in August, and making 80 grand in the last 5 months. So with that, Aman, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. What's up, everyone?
So I know that you have a really cool story about how you originally got into this industry.
Yeah.
Do you want to just take everybody back a couple years to when that first started? And yeah, just give us a rundown.
And it's funny that you said a couple years because my real estate journey started in 2023.
Okay.
Which is crazy because we just started 2026. I feel like I put in so much life into 2 years, and I love that. But no, it started again in college. I was in college at USF in 2023, my last year in college. I've known my entire life that I did not like school.
Okay.
I was never meant for school. I was never good at school.
Sure.
I was smart enough to get by. I was smart enough to do well. I had a full ride scholarship to college. So I was smart enough to get by, but I always hated it.
Yeah.
School was never for me. I've always wanted to own my own business and saw myself as an entrepreneur from a very young age.
Sure.
Again, for whatever reason, I'm stuck in this limiting mindset of I have to go to school, I had to get a degree, I have to get a job. Again, our parents coming from a different time, especially immigrant parents, it's very, school oriented, you're a lawyer, engineer, all those different things. So that kind of had me down the wrong path my whole life. And I remember my last year of college, I was like, I'm over this. I vividly remember having like a mental breakdown outside of a school, just saying, what the hell am I doing with my life? I don't like this. I was studying for a biochemistry exam. I was like, I'm so over this. And like, I'm over this. I'm dropping out and I'm done. I'm going to figure it out, Also, up until this point, I had tried and started like 3 or 4 different businesses, by the way.
Okay.
I had an Instagram page in high school that it was an MBA page. I was making like 3 or 4 grand a month in high school off of this Instagram page. Wow. Selling jerseys and advertisements and all those things like that. I tried a marketing agency right after that. I drop shipped a little bit here and there. I did decent in drop shipping. So I always had that spirit of I'm going to start
a little bit of an entrepreneur,
especially on the online space, in the virtual space. So yeah, I was like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I hate this. And I finished out college, luckily. I was like, you know what? I have a semester left. Let me get my degree. And then after that point was when I pretty much went to my parents and I was like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do more school. Screw med school. Screw this, screw that. Get into a huge fight, right? A huge fight over that. My dad's like, all right, if you want to do school, get out. Okay, sounds good. So I packed up all my bags, moved down to Miami. And again, the goal was, like I said, to find a stable 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then during the 5 to 10 and the weekends, and I would build something on the side that would free me from this.
Yeah.
So I get down there. Again, I had an Airbnb for 20 days and I'm door knocking every single day. I'm in downtown. I'm going to banks. I'm at Chase. I'm at Bank of America. I'm going to restaurants, some of the nicer restaurants, because waiters there are pulling in crazy money. I'm like, yo, give me a job. Give me a job. Give me a job. Please give me a job. If you don't give me a job, I'm sleeping in my car. That was the plan. I'm not going back home. There's no way I'm leaving without some sort of success. Like, I'm not leaving. And then my last week, I remember I walked into a wholesale company, a real estate wholesale company.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what wholesaling was at the time. I'd never heard of it. At that time, I thought real estate was being a realtor or buying rentals. That was real estate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I walked into this real estate office and I didn't know what it was. And I remember seeing all the acquisition agents' numbers on the board, right? It was like revenue that they produce. And I was like, oh my God, is that the money these guys are making here? And I sit down with one of the managers and I'm like, yo, what is this? He's like, oh, that's some money. Like, these guys are making this quarter or something like that.
You're like Jordan Belfort in the beginning of Wolf of Wall Street. When he goes onto Wall Street, it's just like blown away at it.
Literally, I was like, oh my God, what do you guys what do you guys do here? Like, I don't even care what you're doing here. If this is the money they've been making, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's run it. So I go into the interview with my old boss, which shout out Mel. He's going to watch this. Still, we have a good relationship now. Well, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Walked into the interview with him and literally I said this in an interview. I literally walked into the interview and I told him, hey, I don't know SH about real estate. I don't know. I don't know what these numbers are. I don't even know what you guys are doing here. If you don't give me this job, I'm sleeping in my car next week. Like, that's just what it was. Like, I need you to give me this job, bro. Like, whatever, like, just give me this job, you know? Give me 6 months and I'll be up there. Yeah, that's what I told him. Like, yo, give me 6 months, I'll be up there with those guys. Trust me, I'll work my ass off.
That's what employers want to hear. So that's good. That's
And I wasn't lying either. Like, I was serious about that.
yeah, no, I'm saying like that kind of mindset when it's not surprising that you got the job because when an employer who is looking for people that want to care as much as he does about his business, and then he runs into somebody like you, I mean, thinking as an employer, I'd be like, yeah, dude, come on in.
Literally. So gave me the job, started right away. And I remember this is how bad I wanted it. I remember when I started, they had like a week-long training that they wanted me to be on.
Yeah.
Finished that in a day. I was like, in a day, I'm running through all these videos. It was a Josh High, Tiffany High, all that training stuff. I ran through all that stuff. And in a day, I'm like, get me on the phones. Like, I think they hired me on a Wednesday, Thursday. By Monday, I was on the phones. I was ready, rocking and rolling, right? So yeah, that's kind of the story. I remember my first 6 months there, I struggled too.
Okay, let's talk about it. Like what was your role at that company? What did they have you doing on the daily, and why ultimately did you want to end up leaving and doing your own thing?
Yeah, I mean, at the company, it was basically like a high ticket sales role, kind of like I'm on the phones with sellers every day that have expressed interest in wanting to sell their property.
Yeah.
My job was to build rapport with those sellers, make them offers as well, get good at comping, make them offers, and get those properties under contract for the company to either purchase, wholesale, flip, whatever the exit strategy was. My job was to bring those deals in.
Fair.
And again, it was
the lead was already generated. It was a system.
Correct.
I just had to call it.
Correct. And they were very direct mail heavy as well.
Okay. So high intent.
Very high intent. My first 6 months there, it was very like boiler room type of I'm dialing. But when I got good at the role, it was very, okay, now I'm sitting back and I'm waiting for the phones to ring.
That makes sense.
Phones ring. And at that point, all my job was to close.
Yeah.
That's it. Lead comes in, process them, build rapport, make them an offer, close the deal. I'm done. Nothing else. That's it. Move on to the next lead, you know? And looking back on it, it's like it was a very privileged position to be in, you know, the kind of money that I was making, not having to worry about those other responsibilities that we're going to.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So your day-to-day was you were just talking to sellers all day, but it was leads that were already generated, people that already had committed to selling their property or at least getting offers to where it was served up for you. And you just it was teed up and you just had to take the silver platter. Yeah.
Now, again, there was skill involved.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't.
Of course.
I had to be good at it. But yeah, it was.
But as we get into it, like there's one thing to just be talking to sellers. There's another thing to go and generate that lead from nothing and take it all the way through the pipeline, all the way to contract. But yeah, we'll get into that. So what caused you or what made you decide that you wanted to leave to start your own thing? Like, it's not enough for me to be in this acquisitions role, even though I'm making really good money. It's not enough for me.
Dude, I have multiple reasons for that. I have them all written down here actually. But dude, the first reason was just being young.
Okay.
Being young. I was 23 at the time when I got the job, and being 23 years old, living in Miami, and I started doing really well at the company.
Yeah.
So making 15, 20 grand a month, living in Miami, it's like, it blinded me for a little bit, right? I got caught up in that. You know, I got the really fancy apartment downtown. I'm renting supercars on the weekends, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing really well, you know?
Miami, man.
No, it'll get to you. It definitely got to me. So being young and realizing that, hey, this isn't, like, I haven't won yet.
Yeah.
Like, I have a long way to go, and I'm young. I could take the risk now. I don't have responsibilities. I don't have children. I don't have a wife. I don't have any of these things.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it. You know, so that's the first thing. I mean,
okay.
The second thing I would say is I've always been someone that, and I mean, call it control issues if you want, but I've always hated being told what to do. I've always hated it. I was always a kid that never listened to teachers in school, always getting kicked out of class.
An entrepreneur.
Literally, even to the point of my parents. Like, I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Things need to happen the way I want them done. Like, I'm very type A.
Yeah.
Like, so I've always been that personality of like, don't tell me what to do.
Right.
You know, I don't care who you are. Don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Another big thing where I was living, like, I joke about like, oh, I started making a lot of money in Miami and I moved into the fancy apartment. But that place actually had a lot of positive impact on me because being in that building, now I'm around people that were doing really well.
Yeah.
Right. And I noticed something in that building. I networked a lot. I connected a lot. I made a lot of friends there. Yeah. And I realized they were all doing one of three things. Right. They were either a celebrity, of course, which not my thing. They were either doing content, also for now, not my thing, or they owned a business. Honorable mention, OnlyFans. But no, That's a business side, right? They're entrepreneur, sure, business owner. And I realized, okay, like I'm the only one in this building with a job. Like I'm doing it the wrong way. Like what I should have done was saved up all my money, started my own company, scaled it to 100K a month, then moved into the building. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's when I realized, like, okay, if I want to get to that next level that a lot of these people that are successful around me are at, that next level isn't working for somebody else. Nobody in that building had a job or a boss. And then lastly, bro, like I've always loved putting my back against the wall. I've always loved it. It's something that I thrive under pressure. I love stress. I love needing to prove to myself like that I'm like that. Like that's what
I've seen that out of you multiple times since you joined the community. Like you definitely have that kind of mindset, which is great. I mean, a lot of people, they shy away from like back against the wall, but you certainly seem to embrace it, which is a big reason why you're where you're at.
I love it, bro. I love it. It's addicting. Like if my life is too stable and comfortable, I can't function. Like I get bored. I get bored, and I need to be challenged. I need to be pushed. So even the move from moving to Miami with no money and
Most people think that
being homeless, like you know what I mean, like not homeless, but like almost homeless, right? And I remember I was grocery shopping at Dollar Tree when I moved there. $20 would last me a week of like Hot Pockets and ramen.
That's amazing.
And it was some of the happiest times in my life.
Yeah. See, and most people aren't willing to go through periods like that. And that's what separates people that are successful from the ones that aren't. So that's a lot of respect for that, man. So So how did it feel knowing that you knew how to close deals, but you had nobody to talk to?
That's a good question. I felt like I was a supercar sitting in a dusty garage, and I hadn't been driven in 2 years. That's literally how I felt, bro. I feel like I knew I had the tools necessary. I knew I could perform. I couldn't showcase it, and I hated it. I hated it so much, and that's why it would lead me down that rabbit hole of trying to work leads that weren't that good, because I was like, no, like I can do this. I can do this.
Right.
So that's what I would say about that. It sucked. It was terrible, and that's why I joined the program. It was like lead flow was my biggest issue. Lead generation, marketing. That's what I needed help with.
A lot of people think that it comes down to a sales skill, which sales helps a lot. Obviously, it's better to be good at talking to people than not good at talking to people. But in our business, it's really about volume. It's about lead generation because there's no secret script or secret sales tactic that you could pull on a seller that's going to get him and be like, well, Aman, I did want 300, but I'll because of how good you are with your words, I'll sell it to you for 150. Like that doesn't exist. There is none of that. It's just about generating lots of leads, getting really good at what is my target seller or what is a distressed seller to look like, having a system for qualifying and vetting and following up with those sellers. And it's a numbers game. Yes, it's not about being able to make the most of every single little lead that you have, even if there's no motivation or there's no distress there. Like as a wholesaler, move on. Find somebody that's got a problem. It's all about getting new leads in the door.
That's a big thing that I've learned over the last couple of years too, bro, is the fact that wholesaling is not a real estate business.
No, you're a marketer.
Like it's a marketing and sales business. That's what it is, which for someone like me is a good thing. For someone like me who needs to be challenged and might not even be in real estate in 10 years because I want to chase so many different things, marketing and sales is a great skill to have. Like if I feel like I could go and start a business in any industry when I get good at this and scale that.
Really, every business at the end of the day is marketing, sales, and infrastructure.
Yes.
Systems.
Systems, delegation, hiring the right people, all that. Which is a part of, absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So like at the end of the day, you were making good money, but you weren't fulfilled. You wanted to be in charge of your own schedule, in charge of your own life. You didn't want to have to answer to other people. So you end up making the jump. And when was that? When did you decide to go out on your own?
So I started there July of 23, worked there about a year and 2-3 months. It was October when I quit, October of 24. And the reason I quit again was because the plan was to stay there a bit longer, and everyone in my life was advising me, you know, stay there longer, like you have a stable job, save up some money. That's what everyone kept advising me. They're not wrong. I just think a little bit differently. And the way I was thinking of it was, hey, there's an opportunity cost to me not starting as soon as possible. Screw the money. I know that when I quit and start my own company, there's going to be a 6 to 12 month period where I'm going to get hit in the face with things I don't know and things I have to learn. And I would rather shortcut that process as quickly as I can. So that's how I thought about it. I thought about it in terms of opportunity cost of not starting versus the stability and money of staying comfortable and waiting, you know? So that's why I quit. It was October of 24. I just couldn't take it anymore. I've also been someone that's very like go all in or don't. I'm not a 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
Have my job, side thing here. No. If I'm doing something, it's all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Like let's run it. Well,
Love it.
so yeah, October of 24, and then I officially started hitting the phones, all that stuff, January of 25. It's only been a year.
Okay. And what were you doing, like when you first went solo, what were you doing to try to find opportunities? Like what did a regular day look like for you?
Cold call. I mean, it was cold call. I wasn't cold calling myself.
Yeah.
I just never thought that that's something I should be doing, which again, joining OCA changed that completely for me because now I look back on it and I'm like, why wasn't I doing that? Like, that's crazy.
Some guru told you it wasn't worth your time.
Yeah, probably. It just seemed like such a low level activity that it was just like, oh no, this is my own company. I'm going to hire someone, hire a cold caller. It just wasn't going well. It also sucked because I didn't know how to run a business.
Okay. That was gonna be my one of my other questions was like, was there something that you thought was going to be easy when you got out on your own that ended up being way harder than you thought?
Well, that's a different thing, and I'll get to that. Yeah, but for this, it was day to day. Like I had a cold caller that was calling lists. I was pulling data off batch.
Yeah.
Had him calling it. Everything was wrong. Again, like I said, I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to manage people. I didn't know how to get the data, how to skip trace it correctly. It was just throwing something at something and hoping that things come out.
Yeah.
And I guess I was really running on faith in my acquisition ability. It was like, hey, one of these days I'm going to get a lead that I know I'm good enough to capitalize on and close, right?
Right.
And it worked. I was doing deals, like we were doing deals here and there. It just wasn't trackable, sustainable, scalable.
Yeah.
I meant to answer your second question. The thing that I thought was going to be easy that ended up being really hard was dispo, actually.
Really?
Dispositions. I come from a company that they're pretty big.
Yeah.
And they had everything dialed in. They're really good at everything they do.
So everything seems like,
dude, we were selling deals sight unseen same day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's what I thought. Like, oh, you lock up a deal.
Yeah.
You call 2 buyers and it's sold.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I would lock up deals and then I would realize, oh my God, like this is hard.
There's a lot more to it.
Not only that, the market was just tanked. It's like terrible. You know, it's like, so dispo was way harder than I thought.
Okay.
It would be.
Dispo is harder. Well, what point did you realize like this isn't working, at least to the level that I want it to, and I don't have like a business yet?
Honestly, dude, right before I joined OCA.
Okay.
I think that was August of last year. So that was like 8 months in to the company.
Okay.
And essentially it was like after me and my business partner split, and that's where I just cleaned house. Oh yeah, this is not working. Okay. Like we've been trying for 8 months. Whatever we're doing is not working.
Yeah.
Like nothing was trackable, nothing was scalable, nothing was consistent. We were doing deals here and there, but there was no system. You know what I mean? So I think up until I joined that is when it was, it wasn't a business. It was like grit and hustle. That's all it was.
No, you were just throwing stuff at the wall, and I mean, from time to time would end up with something, but it was a lot of action without having any kind of like predictability or sustainability.
That's literally what it was. And at that point, I was like, I need to clean house. I need to clean house, and I need help. Like at this point, it's okay to admit I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. Okay, cool. What now? Talking about the one call away community, once you joined. And I'm thinking, I probably know what your answer is going to be because I'm thinking back to our first call, but I'd like to ask anyway, what was the biggest misconception you had before joining that you realized afterwards?
Probably the social media stuff. Like, you posting a lot of content, there's like a misconception about, oh, the gurus.
Yeah.
If someone's posting a lot of content, they're probably not legit, etc. Which that wasn't the case with you. I knew you had $1 million plus company. I knew you were actually doing it. And it wasn't even my misconception. It was just what I was getting on an outside perspective of like, cause I'd wanted to join since I started, but everyone around me was just like, no, like you don't need that. Like it's just online stuff. You don't need to pay for coaching, blah, 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 blah. So that was the biggest misconception.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even fully believe. I just need to make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. What felt different about the way that we approach lead generation versus the way that you were doing it before? Is there any differences to where you're like, okay, I was taking this action before, but now that I'm in here and I see what they're doing in the one call away community, I can see how this is a better route?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, bro, is you simplified it. Like I think coming from a $3, $4, $5 million company, I'm around all the fancy bells and whistles, the direct mail and the drip campaigns and all these super cool things, right? You made it a lot simpler than I thought it was.
Okay.
I know, which was a combination of volume consistency and discipline. That's it.
It really is.
Get in front of the right people, make offers, and have them trust you and like you and close the deals.
Yeah.
That's how you presented it to me. And remember our first call that we had, and I asked you, so like we went through like your systems and stuff, and I was like, what am I missing here? Like,
yeah, that's what I thought your answer to my last question was going to be, about the misconception, because I always think about that.
Yeah.
We went over the systems and stuff on your first intro call. You were like, yeah, this is all great, Nick, but like, what's the secret?
Like, yeah, I was like, so what? Like, what did I pay you for? I was like, did I just pay you to teach me how to use Prop Street? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and I was like, dude, trust me. Just trust me. Just follow this process. The reason why most people cannot gain consistency or build a business is because they just don't follow a process long enough. So there really isn't a secret. It just is about volume, making tons of calls, finding distressed sellers, and making sure that you are focusing on that. It is an incredibly simple business. There is no secret sauce except putting in the work, which you've proven over and over again.
Literally, bro. That would be my answer. You simplified it. You made it not as scary as it is, because it's really not that scary. Or you made it not as scary as it seems.
Yeah.
Because it's really not that scary. It's just about work ethic and discipline, and mental toughness is huge, because so much rejection that we deal with every day. I mean, it's sales at the end of the day. Now,
Yeah.
mental toughness also is very huge in this industry. Is you have to just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went on that call and you said, hey, just focus on getting 50 no's a day, I was like, really? Like, that's it?
Can't be that simple.
Can you get me deals? What are you talking about? Like, I just came from a company where they're like probably spending $100,000 a month on marketing and it's all these fancy things, and it's like there's 60K deals every month. Like, what are you talking about? You know? But it worked. I mean, you were right. It really is just consistency.
Yes, it is.
Literally, that's it. That's literally the winning. And that could go for any industry, not just our industry.
Yeah, not really.
Anything, bro. It's just consistency. Just keep going. The people that win are always the smartest, the brightest, the most capable. No, it's just the people that never quit.
It's people that show up every day.
That's it.
No doubt. No doubt. Okay, cool. So you joined at the end of August. We're recording this, February 10th or 11th? 11th. Yeah. What did the rest of 2025 look like for you? And what does 2026 look like so far? Because I know you just had a really big month last month.
Mm-hmm.
So take us through the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026.
From the end of the year, when I joined the program, the goal was, hey, I need you to help me get to at least 2 to 3 deals a month. That was the goal to end the year, and I did that. So the main focus went into building that stability, that baseline stability that you need before you can start to scale. Yeah. It's hard to scale when your deals are inconsistent, when deal flow is inconsistent. You know what I mean? So that was the focus, and a huge focus for me was getting on the dialer and actually making the cold calls, and I hated it. I would complain to you every day about it, and I hated it so much, you know? I actually grew to like it, funny enough. It wasn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. So the main point to end the year was to fill up the pipeline with as many good leads as possible.
Sure.
And I know at that point, if I do that, my acquisitions ability will carry me into 2 or 3 deals a month. Yeah. My issue was never locking up deals. I'm great at that, and I can humbly say that.
I remember you saying that on the very first call, which, by the way, this dude at one point, I don't know what your number is now, but a couple months into the program, this dude was locking up 1 in 20 raw leads.
Yeah.
Versus my company, we lock up like 1 in 30 quality leads.
Yeah.
And so to take that ratio, the dude's a killer on the phones. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And again, and thank you for that. But my issue was always lead gen. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. Again, like you said, I'm at the company and it's silver platter.
Yeah.
It's like hot leads, close them, right?
Yeah.
Bring in the hot leads. I didn't realize, oh my God, this is a whole different game.
Right.
So the goal is to just bring in as many quality opportunities as possible and allowing my natural ability to just convert those, which that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I ended the year doing 2 to 3 deals a month. I think I closed 3 in November, 2 in December. And then starting this year, January was the best month I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break it down.
So I made 46 grand total in January over the course of 3 deals.
Okay.
And the reason I love that is because those 3 deals were good deals. Like they were all pretty big. Because another thing, I ended the year, I was doing 2 or 3 deals a month, but each deal, the profits were like 7,500, $5 grand, 7K, 6K. And it's just like, okay, this is nice. This keeps the lights on. This keeps me stable.
But they're not a needle moving deals.
No, I can't hire 2 more callers. I can't invest into the company at the scale that I want to, these little baby deals.
Yeah.
But no,
What do you think the difference was?
Negotiating better.
Yeah.
Negotiating better. Also a good mix of luck as well. with Nate bringing me that innovation that we'll talk about. Kept a flip, and of course that I did.
So having extra tools in the tool.
That I was gonna say that, like getting creative as well, especially in this market. Like I had 3 deals closed in January. They were all different.
Yeah.
One was an assignment, one was innovation, and one was a flip. And that totaled up to making 46 grand in January.
Right.
So again, just also getting creative and having those tools in your back pocket to where if you find a situation that fits it, capitalize on it.
Right.
So
At the end of the day, it's just finding a distressed seller. That's it. Yeah. Like we talked about before, you have no problem when you get that distressed seller in front of you.
Yeah.
But you had to put the pieces together to be able to pull that motivated seller out of nowhere and bring it into your world, and then work the process of getting it to the point of where you're ready to lock it up, versus when you're working in a company that's doing a bunch of direct mail and inbound stuff. Most of the leads that you're talking to, they're already ready to sell. Yeah. When we're cold calling, which is our primary marketing channel, obviously at the One Call Away community, a lot of the time you're calling people either before they've really made the decision to sell, or you're calling them in the early stages. Now, I know just last week you locked one up that came in literally the same day, which we'll talk about that, but the majority of the deals that you get from cold calling are going to be, you call them and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And maybe you get a little bit of information here, and then you're following up with over the course of weeks, months. I mean, sometimes even years. I think we had one deal. I want to say our record is like just over 3 years of follow-up.
Yeah.
So it's a very different process and a very different mindset from just, I'm going to show up at my computer and there's going to be leads and all I got to do is get them under contract and then I never see them again.
Literally. I wait to get paid.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that. Like a lot of people that I talk to now are just like, yeah, like locking up cold call deals takes time, It hasn't been my experience, surprisingly.
You're just that good on the phone?
I'm not, that's not what I'm trying to say. I swear, I'm not trying to say that. It's just...
No, you have had some quick hitters.
But yeah, it's just like, I'm trained to lock up deals right away. I'm not a big follow-up guy, which I'm working on. Like that's one of my flaws that I'm trying to work on, is understanding where each lead needs to go and how they work them correctly. Because I'm such a closer that it's like, lead comes in, okay, we're getting this contract today.
Well, you probably have such a fine-tuned sense for like what a motivated seller is. Yeah, sounds like, because you've worked with so many of them. Yeah. So it's like when you get those leads that come in, you're able to be like, that one.
Yeah,
that's a big opportunity coming in today. Let me help on this. Yeah,
this is getting locked up today. And both of those deals, like the Hernando one in December and this Lakeland one, they both told me they weren't looking to sell. Both of them said that. And I feel like a lot of people sometimes will just let that lead go and be like, oh, this is a follow-up.
Yeah.
They told me they're not looking to sell. This is a follow-up. But I just wasn't backing down at that level. It was like, I'm still digging.
Yeah. Why? What made you think this? Because we get a ton of people that obviously say they're not interested in selling. What made you think this is somebody that I need to continue talking with?
It's always motivation.
Yeah.
So you want to sell, but you're waiting. What's the gap? The intent is there. Why are we waiting? Like there's some sort of gap here that I know I can fill and help with. Hernando, I kept digging and I found out he had just gotten into a car accident. He needed help moving his stuff. He needed help storing his stuff. And I was like, oh, that's great that you told me that. Let me pay for all this. And I did that. Like that's our job, right? As wholesalers, to provide solutions.
Yeah.
And again, help people in distress. Like that's what we do. We claim that we help people. So actually do it. Mm-hmm. I paid for his storage. I paid for his moving, covered all that stuff. And even at closing, I agreed to split half with him.
Yeah.
But I covered half of all that. I only took half of it back at closing. So I think seeing that when the motivation is there, don't just drop it. I don't dig a little bit. Like ask why. Like
read between the lines a little. Yeah. Like he said, he didn't want to sell, but there's either the way that he said it or something suggesting that he's not giving you the full truth.
Yes.
Now, if you're doing this with sellers that have brand new construction houses, a beautiful condition, you're going to waste a bunch of your time. So if you talk to somebody that says like our virtual assistants, our cold callers, are trained to, if somebody just says no interest at all, ask, okay, do you have any other properties or land that you're interested in selling? But if they say something like, not right now, or not at this time, or no, I don't think so, or there's like a hesitation there, then they're instructed to, hey, dig in on that a little bit and ask, like, it sounded like you were maybe hesitating. Should I follow up with you? Like, is that something that you're maybe thinking about doing in the future? And we've had some times where it's like that the first reaction is, no, I don't think so. And then they ask that question and they're like, yeah, well, I'll probably be, probably like next month.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a great lead. They want to sell in the next 30, 40, 45 days or whatever.
Yep.
But if you didn't dig in on that a little bit,
Yeah.
then you're not even going to get that. And you might think it's not an opportunity. Now, again, I don't want people to get confused with what I'm saying here. This still has to be an ugly house. There has to be some kind of problem there and some kind of distress. I'm not saying that you can't get deals on pretty houses, but if you're doing this with everybody that has a nice house, you're going to be wasting a lot of time.
Yep. No doubt.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So now these days, what does your pipeline look like compared to before? Like if you were to look at right now versus let's say 6 months ago, 8 months ago, is there a difference in between your pipeline? Like, can you talk about all of
That's noticeable. The volume is up. Yeah, one thing. I have three callers now full time that I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm getting anywhere from 6 to 8 leads a day. Okay. Which is what? Times 3, 24, close to 30, 40 leads a week.
Yeah.
Great. That's great. Yeah, that's great. So the volume is definitely different. I've gotten better at identifying what's a quality lead and what I shouldn't waste my time on, because that's another thing I had to work on when I came into the community.
Yeah, you're gonna call everybody.
I that's how I was trained. Like you have every lead. It's like I need to call every lead and I need to try to close every lead.
Which again, if it's somebody that's reaching out to you saying they want to sell, then yeah, like maybe it makes sense, especially because that company probably paid $150 to $300 for that lead. Whereas with cold calling, again, a lot of the time we're calling these people in the middle of the day. So it's like we're calling them in the middle. You'll get a lot of sellers that are like, sure, whatever, what's your offer, right? And like those people in most situations are not going to be worth calling back. But somebody that actually fills out a directive mail form or PPC form, there's a little bit more incentive there. But sorry, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Yeah, the pipeline looks very different. The volume is up. I'm getting better at identifying what I can work and what I should just leave for 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So that's been the biggest change for me. I think that has also helped me lock up deals recently a little bit quicker because I'm not wasting time with the tire kit. Yeah, that I was previously wasting time with trying to pitch listings and trying to squeeze an ovation out of somebody when it's like, it shouldn't work like that. The innovation should be when you already build a good rapport with them and it's like a backup option that actually solves their problem. Not something you're trying to squeeze out of somebody and force them to do, So it's that sort of mental shift in my acquisitions.
Yeah.
Like the way I do it.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's good. And you touched on something that is important there, because I always say that there's 3 main mistakes that I see new wholesalers making. Mistake number 1 is inconsistent marketing. Mistake number 2 is spending most of their time with bad leads. Is it that a seller that wants, their house is worth $300K and they'll sell it to you for $240, and you're like, oh, they're willing to sell it at a discount. But then after you spend so much time doing comps and going out and meeting that seller and building rapport and doing all of that sort of stuff, then you finally give them an offer of 150 or 160, or we actually need that house at, and they tell you to go kill yourself, right? Yeah, because they're not actually that motivated. So that's mistake number 2. And mistake number 3 is trying to do everything yourself.
Made all 3 of them.
Yeah. So, but now you're not, and obviously we see a very big difference in the results. So awesome, man. Okay, well, this is HUD Up or Shut Up, and I've got a couple of HUDs here. So we're gonna break down. Do you have a preferred deal that you want to go over first? I've got the one on Poinsettia, and I've got the one on Marlin Ave.
Let's talk about Marlin. That's the one I'm like really proud of. Just the way of that.
Here's the HUD, everybody. We got what kind of fee we got on this? $21,000 fee.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Where did the lead come from? Talk about the lead source, how you built rapport, how you ended up locking up, and just kind of how we deal with it.
So the reason I love this lead, this is the deal that I've done that I'm the most proud of yet. Not my biggest deal, not the 21K profit. Solid, nothing crazy, but I'm the most proud of it because she called into the company.
This was SEO.
This was SEO. This was organic. I put no money into SEO. This was organic SEO last year. In March or April, she called in, right? The reason she called in is because the lot that we wholesaled is in South Tampa. And she went online and she searched up home buyers near Bayshore. Because Bayshore Boulevard, and I came up.
There you go.
I organically came up and I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. That's always great. She called in, we built, I processed her like usual. I don't usually answer a lot of inbound calls because they're usually just some Egyptian trying to sell me on cold calling, whatever. But luckily this day, like we answered the call. I don't remember if it was me or if the person I was working with at the time, but one of us answered the call. And it was a good lead. She was actually looking to sell her property. The only thing was we were waiting on, I gave her brother to pass away was the story. because he didn't want to sell it at the time, but she wanted to sell it, and he was at the very end of his life, which was pretty sad situation actually. She was like, hey, I'm looking to sell as soon as he goes, like he's on his last, like he's in the hospital, he's in the ICU, like he's gonna go soon. Can we talk? Yes, absolutely. Her name was Helen. Like, absolutely, we can talk, Helen. And then after that point, we left it at that. I would follow up with her, like I would say at least once a month. I would just check in, be like, hey, Helen, how are you doing? How's your brother doing? Etc. Not even trying to get a deal, just like checking in. Like literally, how's you been checking in? Literally, how are you doing? That's it. How are you doing? And then her brother finally passed. I think this was, I don't remember when. It was like summer of last year or something like that. And I remember I called her and I was just for the follow up, and she was like, hey, like I'm going through a lot. My brother, finally passed away. We're getting some work done on the title to get it all into my name, etc. I would appreciate if you gave me space, right? And that's where it's like that sense of knowing who to push and who to back off from really helped me, right? Because I listened to her. I didn't follow up with her once. I forgot about the lead. I was like, hey, she was like, I need space. Like, just please don't call me. I'm going through a lot. Left her alone. And the only reason I did that is because I knew I had built good enough rapport at that point where I could, to where she would remember me. If I hadn't done that, I probably would have stayed on her every 3 months, right? But I left her alone because I knew she remembered me, and I knew she remembered the company name.
Yeah.
Then randomly she calls me one day. I don't remember when it was. I think it was November, something like that. I randomly see her name on there. I'm like, oh my God, is that Helen? I haven't spoken to her in like 4 months. She calls me and she's like, hey, Aman, like I've missed you. Like, how are you doing? I was like, I missed you too, Helen. Like, what's up?
And the seller says they missed.
Literally. But then she's like, I missed our conversation. Dude, I would talk to this lady for like 40 minutes. Where we are, her childhood, her life, her children, her career. She's so into like tax and accounting stuff.
Okay.
So we would talk about that for hours. So she was like, I missed you. Like, I missed talking to you. And I was like, Helen, yeah, like, what's up? Like, how are you? She was like, can I tell you something? And I was like, what's up? She was like, every company that I was talking to at the time, I told them to give me space. None of them did that. They would all call me every couple weeks, bothering me. I was going through my brother's death. He was the closest person to me in my life, and they all kept harassing me. So I knew that when I was ready to sell this, you were going to be the person that I called. Thank you so much for leaving me alone.
That's awesome, dude.
Literally, she's like, thank you so much for leaving me alone and giving me space. And I was like, yeah, I mean, of course. Like, it's, that's what you asked for. You were going through a pretty traumatic event. I'm not, like, the human level of this transcends any assignment fee or deal or anything like that to me. Like, I'm not, especially as wholesalers, we're not in it for the profit. Like, we're in it for volume, to move deals and fulfill for sellers, right? That's what we're really in it for. I was like, of course, like, I'm not going to pester you over a potential deal when your brother just died. Like, you're going through a lot, right? You know what I mean? So left her alone. It's like, yeah, well, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's do this. I'm all right, let's do it. I made her an offer, I think, of $320 back in March. And the only reason I did that is because I saw a comp on our street that Domain Homes paid $375 for. And this was on the MLS, so again, maybe it was a bit higher than Dispo actually was. So she's like, can you honor that $320? At that point, I was like, yeah, let's lock it in. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah.
Locked it in at $320. Had multiple people try to move it. Had you try to move it. Had other companies try to move it. And the offers were just coming back in the twos, like in the twos, the high twos. Same thing with New West. Like, hey, 290 is like where we're at. So then it was like, oh damn, like I felt terrible. So like, there's been a year of follow up here, such great rapport. Her brother just died, and I don't think I'm going to be able to fulfill here, and that sucked, right? So I was honest with her and I gave her a call back. And again, this is a huge thing with a lot of wholesalers where sometimes when things get really muddy, like it's okay to just be honest and tell them that you're not actually buying the property. Like, it's okay, I just told her, I was like, hey, like typically on deals like this, we partner with other developers and builders. I'm really sorry. I feel absolutely terrible. I was in line. These weren't sales tactics either. I actually felt terrible. Yeah. And I was like, but I can't fulfill it 320. I just can't. I'll give you Domain Homes phone number. I'll give you Keybree's phone. I'll give you all these phone numbers. Go, you try to sell it. Like, I told her, like, I want to send you a cancellation because I feel terrible. I want to send you a cancellation so you can go and work with these builders, right? And she was obviously a little bit upset as well, of course. And at the end of the day, I hit her for a 70K reduction from 320 down to 250. Complete long shot. I did not think she would take it. I'm pushing her to cancel, by the way. Like, I'm on the reduction call saying, hey, I will send you the cancellation. Go talk to these builders. Like, I'm sorry, you know? Calls me back again. She's like, no, I only want to work with you. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, we've been talking for a year. I only want to work with you. Let's do the 250, you know? It's like, wow. It's like, wow. I was on the cruise at this point in Denver, and I couldn't hear, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, did I actually just get this? So we got that, sold it. New Western moved it within a day. There was some, I know you have a question on there for issues that came up on the deal as well. So that, obviously code violations and liens that came up on the property. A little bit of renegotiating. The buyer had to come down. I had to come down. All in all, it ended up being a 21K deal with the buyer assuming those code violations strings. I think a pretty happy ending, for that year-long story. I wanted to end the year doing bigger deals. 21K, solid.
It's great to start January. I think one of the really important things there is that, and one of the things that I want to make sure the audience understands is like, and you mentioned it there, like we're in this business for volume and to fulfill for sellers in the sense of we're not going to, obviously we want to make as much as we can on every deal, but we're not going to prioritize our profit performing for the seller and getting the seller what they like, what we told them we get them. And if we can't, then being honest with them, being transparent with them, and working with them with the feedback and the terms that you're given by the buyers. I think the huge thing that a lot of wholesalers miss, and honestly, sometimes, as a business owner that now I have $30,000 a month in overhead that I have to cover and stuff like that. Like there's times where I sometimes think as a business owner, like more in dollars and cents. And I have to remind myself, like this business is about helping distressed sellers. And if you focus your business on solving problems for distressed sellers, the money will come. When you focus on the money, when you focus on the dollar out and the dollar in ratio and only on that and not on the people and the human aspect of it, you're going to struggle. And when I look back at some of the points in my career and in the business where 27 properties was maybe in a low period, a lot of the times the thing that got us out of that period was a combination of maybe tweaking some systems and doing some things to capitalize better, but me reminding my team, hey, we're here to like help people. And you get paid. The money that you make is directly correlated to the value that you bring to the marketplace. And our marketplace is, of course, distressed sellers and investors. So the more value that you can bring to those people in the form of solved problems for sellers and quality deals for buyers, that's where the money comes from. So if you're focused on the money itself and you're just seeing these sellers as potential assignment fees, you're going to struggle. Absolutely. But if you see them as human beings with problems and yourself as a human being with the ability to solve their problems, it just changes the game.
Absolutely. And to your point with this deal, like originally when it first got sold, without the knowledge of those violations, it was a 40K deal for me. That was huge. I would have made $40,000 on this one deal. And when those issues came up and I had to come down to 21, I feel like a lot of people would have gone back and tried to make their 40 on a reduction, on another reduction, and try to go back and be like, no, like, I'm going to get my 40.
Right.
I didn't think of it like that. I was like, no, look, we finally moved the deal for 21K. I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
And that kind of mindset is why she told you, no, I don't want to work with the buyers that you're putting me in touch with. I want to work with you. So she could have easily, and many sellers would have, told you, go kick rocks, send me a cancellation, and work with somebody else. But because you showed her that you, first of all, are transparent with probably most of her your competition, most of the people that were talking to her probably were not being transparent. And then problems come up, you communicated, you were honest with her. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's not just me, but people say all the time that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. She knew you, she liked you, she trusted you. So it wasn't a matter of money. It was a matter of, Aman, I want you to solve my problem.
Correct.
Whatever price that has to be at.
Correct. And I gave that energy back to her. It wasn't about my profit on this deal. I just want to get this done at this point.
Love it, dude. So it's how you solve problems and make money, man. That's exactly what it's exactly what we're all about. So awesome. Okay, cool. So that's the $21,000 deal, and then you get a novation with another one of the community members, Nate Holscher, who, if you didn't see the first episode of HUD Up or Shut Up, Nate came on there for that. But you guys did a novation together. Let's break that one down.
Yeah, this was a fun one. I love doing deals with my friends. It's fun. Of course, obviously, people doing deals in the community is always even better.
We got $13,739 going to Aman and to Nate.
for that collaboration. So about a 27 and some change. Yep, total profit on this novation.
Love it.
No, I
The
love
seller's situation, and why was it a novation and not a wholesale?
that. So the seller situation, Nate could probably answer a little bit better.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. He was working the seller.
It was his deal. It was Nate's deal. He had it under contract, I believe. I think the seller was stuck on 100 grand flat. She needed that amount of money to get into another house. Most wholesale offers were coming in at like 70, 80. But I think Nate saw an opportunity here for a cash investor to purchase it on the market for over 100K.
Yeah.
And he brought it to me at this point. I think his lead manager actually was the one that qualified this. He brought it to me because I do have experience with novations. I haven't done a lot, but I was a part of a lot of them. When I need
Every real estate license.
yeah, of course, that too. So yeah, he just brought it to me. He's like, yo, what do you think of this deal? I was like, yo, like, also it was a different type of novation. That's why I'm happy about it, because I'm so used to doing novations on pretty houses where it doesn't need a lot of work. This was a beater. This was a beater, right? So this is more of like a wholesale MLS deal, not really a novation.
Still going to I'm assuming still went to an investor.
Exactly, yes, it did. It did go to an investor. So they brought it to me. We looked at it together. I liked it. I was like, let's get this listed. We got pictures. I listed it. Dude, we had like 20 showings in the first 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
It was great. It was great. I remember me and Nate, like, we had like a little spreadsheet on Excel where I had all the offers listed and everything. We were like looking at that, and we were like talking to each other on, hey, which one should we accept, the pros and cons of each offer. We were emailing you offers saying, yo, is this legit? Is this not legit? He wanted to accept a certain offer, and then I was like, no, let's hold off a little bit because we're getting such good traction. Like, give it another couple of days. Well, it was like Thursday at this time. Like, yo, let's wait until Tuesday. Let me get all these people in on the weekends, right? So we got these specific buyers in, and we had an offer on the table. So we had the novation at 100K going to the seller.
Okay.
I listed it at 129. I think the property was worth anywhere from 140 to 150. I listed it very aggressively.
Yeah.
Again, to that point about volume.
Yeah.
Not getting greedy.
Yeah.
And fulfilling. Yeah. Right? I wanted to actually fulfill for her because she was in distress and wanted to move.
Yeah.
And also, I knew at 129 we're still making 20 something grand. Like, that's still a good deal for us. Let's move the deal. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So I listed it for 129, got crazy traction. Someone came in asking with the 0-day inspection period, right? And we were like, oh, we should take this offer. And luckily I got one last buyer in there before we talked about it. And they came in above asking at 135, but they had a 7-day inspection period. And that's where I had to play the game a little bit of like, hey, we have an asking offer at 0 days. We're okay with passing up that $6,000 and taking their offer because we value the no contingency over the amount. And then within 10 minutes, she was like, yeah, done deal. 135, 0 day. If we can do that, can you send the contract? I was like, yeah, that's absolutely, we can send the contract. Sent it out. They signed it. They submitted EMB the next day. I remember I called Nate. I was in DC at the time. I called Nate, and I was just like, we were so happy. That's awesome. We were like celebrating. We were like, dude, we just sold like a 35K deal in like 4 days. Above asking, 0-day inspection.
Yeah.
On the market. I think it was Nate's first novation. It was my first novation on my own.
Yeah.
So I was super happy about that. Very smooth closing as well.
Yeah.
And pretty much when they brought me the deal, I handled the seller after that point. I was the one in contact with her, talking to her. She was so happy, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what made me so happy about this deal, is that I love when the sellers are so happy after.
Yeah.
She left me a 5-star review as well. I don't know if she left Nate one. I did send her your thing too, bro. So don't bid on me. I'll show you the text. But she left me a review.
That's fun.
So well, she was just so happy, dude. She was like, thank you guys. Like, no one could get me 100K. Yeah. Like, and again, it's like what we talked about, like being creative sometimes when it fits the situation and solving their problem. That's what we did.
Exactly. And for anybody that doesn't know what a novation is, it's essentially, instead of you buying the property and putting it under contract and assigning it from the seller, you're essentially partnering with that seller and you're getting them a net price going into it, and then you're listing it on the market. So they, in this situation, had told the seller that you give them 100K. So you sign an agreement with the seller that just says like, hey, we're going to list the property. We're going to handle all the showings, buyer vetting, all that sort of stuff. And once we sell it, you'll get the 100,000. We'll pay the closing costs and the commissions. Then anything else goes to us as profit. And that's where the 13,000 and some change for both Aman and for Nate went to. But okay, cool. So
before you move on, I want to give you some props for this and helping us set up the paperwork for this novation. I want to touch on that a little bit.
Sure.
I've always done it and seen it done where it's a purchase agreement with the novation clause, with the POA, stuff like that, and then you take it to the market that way, right? The way that you do it is actually the best way that I've seen it done, where you just sign a JV agreement with the seller, Both of your responsibilities are clearly listed out. What the seller has to do, what she's getting, what she's paying.
Yeah.
What we have to do, what we're getting, what we're paying for, all those different things. Because innovations are very tricky. They're very tricky. There's a lot of gray area. It's very unregulated.
Yeah.
And to your point, when you have the purchase agreement, sure, you have the option to novate it. But at the end of the day, it's a purchase agreement. You're buying like it. Intent wise, it looks like you're buying it.
Yeah.
With the option when you're exercising the option to list it, right? So I want to give you props for that. That was a very creative thing that you figured out, like to do novations in the format of a JV.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like you said, it's hard to intent matters when you're, let's say, in court, like in the legal side of things.
Yeah.
And I have over the years, because I've been in lawsuits, I just, every time I'm looking at paperwork and agreements that I make with sellers, it's always like, what would this look like in front of a judge? It got to that point.
Yeah.
And when you're doing novations, the traditional way where there's a purchase agreement, you have a power of attorney over the seller, you have a listing agreement, and there's like all these different, there's like 3 or 4 different documents that one says you're purchasing the house, one says you're listing the house, one says your power of attorney over the seller. Like, there's just a lot of opportunities for the seller to be like, I didn't know what happened. They take advantage of me, like, blah, 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 whatever. Whereas if you have a JV agreement that's signed with you and the seller, and then you have a listing agreement that's signed by the seller and the closing docs that's signed by the seller, that seller can never come back and say they didn't know what was happening.
No.
So,
and to your point, the taking advantage point, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people send out purchase agreements with novation clauses, and the next thing you know, that their property's listed and the seller has no idea.
Yep.
You know how many leads I've gotten on the phone with that I'm working, where they're like, oh, I'm under contract, someone's already buying it. And I'll go to them and see it, and I see it's listed on Zillow, it's listed on, and I'll ask them, like, yo, did you know that they listed your property? And they're like, no, why would they list my property? They're buying my property.
Yep.
And I was like, no, your property's listed right now for whatever. So to your point, people do take advantage of that.
Right. So, right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the things that you run into, and it's a largely unregulated industry.
Yeah.
So we're here to change that standard and take care of our sellers, and we're the ones that are going to be here in a decade, 2 decades. A lot of the people that are taking advantage of sellers, they might have a good year, they might have a good couple of years, but karma gets them.
Absolutely.
Karma gets them. Cool. Okay. So this seller, I know that you didn't talk to too much. So let's take another, like your flip, for example, because actually, you know what? No, let's do a different one, because this is kind of 2 things in one. But you just locked up one last week, which we'll get to the whole mindset thing, because I know that you were going through a little bit of like
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. But my question with these 2 HUDs, and let's take either the flip or the one that you just locked up last week. I don't want to talk about the one with Make, because you didn't have as much to do with the seller side.
Right.
But is there like, what was the number one reason, if there was any similar reasons, like why those people chose to work with you?
Oh, distress.
Yeah.
It's always that. They're very similar archetypes throughout, which to your point, you say that a lot. Like we're looking for 2 to 3 character profiles in our sellers, and we're offering a solution based off of those archetypes, and they were all very consistent. They were going through either a downsizing, a death in the family, the Lakeland seller that I'm working with now, death in the family. She wants to move back to Georgia. She's tired of living out here.
Your flip was a divorce, right?
My flip was a divorce. Exactly. The flip was a divorce. So yeah.
So again, it goes back to, at the end of the day, we have to work with whether it's going to be innovation, whether it's going to be a sub-2 or a seller finance deal, or whether it's a cash offer.
Yeah.
For us, in most situations, it has to be somebody that they not only want to sell, but have to. Yeah. For some reason.
Yeah.
Like there's something that's actually forcing them to need to sell the house. Because again, we're serving about 5% of the real estate market.
Yeah.
94 to 96% of the real estate market hires an agent, puts it on the market for the highest and best, and as they should, because their house, their house is in good shape. They have no problems. Why should they sell it to an investor for pennies on the dollar? So we're serving that 5%. So
dude, I tell sellers all the time, I'm not going to be your best offer. I tell them
that's on our website.
I literally tell them that I'm not going to be your best offer. I need a discount.
Yeah.
Are you in a situation where you can work with that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's perfect. And the right sellers are. They're like, yeah, I get it. Dude, most of my deals that I've done, the sellers know their house is worth more. I'm not here scamming old ladies and taking their equity like people joke about. No, they know.
Right.
Sellers will literally tell me, hey, I know my house is worth $400.
Right.
I know I could get that on the market.
Right.
I don't want to go to the market.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me $240? Can you give me $260? Can you give me $280? I just want to get out of here.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, just know who you serve.
Yeah, I do love the notion that, like, we're taking advantage of people that have no idea what they're doing. Like, not everybody knows that you could Google a realtor and get opinions or appraisers. Like, everybody knows that they can sell their house for more than what they can sell to us for. It's people that are choosing speed and convenience over maximizing profit.
Absolutely. And I understand why the notion exists as well. There's a lot of bad apples, of course, in the industry. There's a lot of people that do take advantage of people. And there's a lot of people that do, like the innovation thing we talked about, or going for 30K reductions a day before closing. Like, there's a lot of people that do that. So I understand why the stereotype and notion exists.
Sure.
But
the ones that are doing the business that right way, and most sellers outside of the small minority that actually truly do get taken advantage of, like, most people know that you can hire a realist and that you're going to be able to get more money for your property. So
just don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to. They're valuing the speed and convenience. Let's get into, because I know that there was just last week you locked up a deal that the lead came in from one of the cold callers that morning, but prior to that time, you had been talking about, like, you had gone a couple of weeks without a contract and you were like feeling like you were in a rut.
Yeah.
And you started last week, like, determined, telling the entire community, like, I am getting a deal this week. Like, I'm making it happen. I'm sick of being in this drought. Like, talk about that and why you think you were able to end that week with a contract. That is already sold, by the way.
Yeah. Again, like I mentioned before, I love pressure. I love stress. I love it. It drives me. I need to have my back against the wall. It's the reason why I always, I have this running joke where I'm going to build my wholesale company up to $1 million and then I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to quit because I'm going to get bored. I won the game. Time to go start an insurance company. Let's see if I can figure this out. Get that to $1 million. Time to start a solar company. So I just love being able to challenge yourself. I need to be challenged. So I love being in those situations. And I'm not a person. So when I was in that rut over the last 3 weeks, right? I remember I was coming to you about it. We were talking about it, and your explanations were, "Hey, like, this just happens in the industry. This is just how it goes, right?" You're right. I know you're right.
Or you're like, I can't accept.
My brain didn't accept that. I was like, no, like, I don't accept that. Like, you're telling me, like, dude, this is just what happened. There's ups, there's downs, there's ups, and I was like, yo, no. My mind cannot comprehend that. I don't know.
I love that.
I refuse to live in a reality that I can't bend to my will to curate the life I want to live. I rebuke the mere existence of such reality that I can't curate to live the life I want to live. It just doesn't exist in my mind that way. I'm not a laid back person. I'm not a go with the flow person. Like, you've gone to know me a little bit now. Like, it's pressure.
Yeah.
It's straight pressure. It's relentlessness. Like, it's no, if I want something, I'm going to get it 100%. And that mentality, it's not the healthiest. I'm in a constant state of not feeling as happy because I have such big goals I want to reach. It's like, I made 50 grand last month. I'm not proud of myself. I have my goals are so big, that it's like that's nothing to me, right?
It's like, I should be doing that.
I want to get to 100 grand a month. That's really the goal, right? That's where I can maybe look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, kid, like, you've done something, right? So I've always just, again, it's like I was saying, it's not the healthiest thing, but also winning isn't always healthy, and I'm okay with that trade-off at my age right now.
Yeah.
I know as I get older that may happen.
But I mean, the greats will tell you the same thing. You think Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant were worried about if they were happy while they were training?
Yeah. It's funny that you said the basketball reference. Like, I've been playing basketball since I was 10. I'm the person that wants to take the last shot. I could be 0 for 8. I don't care. I could have missed my last 8 shots. I'm taking the last shot. If you pass me the ball in a pickup game, you're not getting it back. Yeah. If it's the last shot, I'm taking it. Make or miss. Kobe Bryant could be on the court with me, and I would think that I should take the ball. I should take the ball. I should take the last shot. But no, it was just I didn't accept that message that you gave me. I didn't. As I wouldn't be honest with you about it. Like, you told me, and you're right. I know you're right, and I'm deluded. I know that's true.
Hey, but you're the one that ended up with a contract.
But it's just, again, like I said, I refuse to live in such a reality that I can't curate to my will. And just buckling down. That's it, dude. I was working 14 hours a day last week. Not even, probably 16 hours a day last week. Literally, I would just work, sleep. That's it. And then it came. I hopped on the dialer too. I have 3 VAs now. I've been on the dialer in 2 months. I was like, no, screw it. This was after I got the contract. I locked it up on Friday, and I sat on the dialer for 6 hours on Saturday.
Yeah.
A day outside of none, because I was like, okay, I got this Lakeland deal. Not enough. No. This is not going to get me to 100 grand a month. This is not going to get me to 100 grand a month. So yeah, I just want to tell you that I didn't.
Dude, that's amazing. And that mindset is why you have had the success that you've had, because so many people in this business want, and it's human nature, right?
Yeah.
It's what is the maximum amount of results that I can get for the least amount of effort.
Yep. Yep.
But if that's like how, this is why most people are supposed to work jobs.
Yeah.
That's why not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, we need people that work jobs, but unfortunately, like, the average employee mindset is, what's the least amount of work that I can do to make the most amount of money, right? Like, it's not I don't care what amount of work that I have to do is. Here's my goal. Whatever I have to do to do that, to reach that goal, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I got to work 80 hours a week. Doesn't matter if I got to work every Saturday and Sunday. Like, nothing is stopping me from reaching this goal.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people are like, well, I want this goal, but I also don't want to give up my weekends. I really like napping. I really like sleeping in. I really, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, well, then do you really want what you say you want?
Yeah. Two things I want to say. I want to get to results after, in our conversation we had months ago when I started. But like what you said right now, dude, I'm at a point now where so many people hit me up now and they're like, yo, what do you do? Like, can you teach me? Can you explain it, etc. And I'm not even closed off about it. I'll tell them exactly what I do. You know why? Because most of them are going to, like, I'm not worried about competition. And most of them aren't going to do what I know. Most of them aren't going to put in the work. Most of them will hear it and be like, oh, wow, that's so cool. I could do that. And I'll tell them, you can do that. I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most talented person in the world. You can do that, but you're not going to.
Yeah.
So have it all. Exactly. I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. You're not going to execute.
So the same exact thing. People are like, why do you just like give out so much free game on social media? Because I know most people aren't going to do anything with it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I mean, we have people that have paid me for coaching and still are doing it. Yeah. So of course, people that are just watching social media, like, yeah. So no, I agree with that completely, man.
And then back to the results thing. I remember when I first started, it took me a while to get my first deal in the community. It was like 44, not a while, but like it was near the end of that 45-day plan that you gave me.
Yep.
I remember the conversation.
Everybody, just so everybody knows, when you join the One Call Away community, you get a 45-day like custom action plan, which it's not that custom because, again, there's not really that big of a secret. It's just, hey, here's the things that you need to focus on over the next 45 days, and we'll tweak it if you have a job or you have something that's, affecting your schedule. But everybody comes into the program with a 45-day schedule or a 45-day plan that's like, hey, if you're following this and you're doing this reasonably, as long as you're following this, you should either have a deal or be very close to your first deal. So
but no, when I was making, like, we have to have a conversation where I was like, dude, what is going on? I've been dialing for like 5-6 weeks at the time. Like, I'm getting leads, no deals, right? And I had to tell that, bro, I'm a results person. Like, I don't care about work. I don't care about my work ethic. I don't care about my intention. I don't care about how hard I'm working or the effort I'm putting in. If there's no results, it is meaningless to me. And I apply that to a lot of my life. I don't care about, which again, not the healthiest thing. I get it. It's like intention and work ethic and all these things that they're nothing if the results aren't there, And you had to kind of rewire my mindset into realizing that it's not always about immediate results. Like, you have to be okay putting in the work for a long period of time before the results come. Essentially what you told me was, hey, the results will come. Just stop expecting it so quickly, So again, it just reminded me, you said the word result. I remembered that because I remember like how much I've changed even the last 6-7 months from where I was to now. Like, I understand the results will come. Like, when I joined first, I was still scared of failure. I was still worried about that, Now I'm at a point where that doesn't even cross my mind. Yeah. Like, I know I'm not going. It's destined for me to not fail. Like, I just know that now, as long as I put in the work. Like, I know I'm going to have $1 million plus investment company in the next 2 to 3 years. I know that. Like, there's not a single bone in my body that thinks I'm going to fail at this. So just the progress from no results, I'm worried, to just keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
Con.
Yep. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, a lot of the time you have to have this is, again, going back to kind of the employee entrepreneur mindset, right? As an employee, what most people are used to is you do 40 hours of work, you get a paycheck. You have 40 hours of work, you get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's directly correlated to the effort that you put in.
Yeah.
Whereas as an entrepreneur, I mean, some people work for months, 6 months before they ever get paid anything.
Yeah.
Right. So it's having to, and I think that I was kind of at a little bit of an advantage for this, because I played college sports, and I redshirted my first year on the baseball team. Like, I went down, and my freshman year, I went through all of the training, all the conditioning, all the lifting. I was up running stadium steps and throwing up at 6 o'clock in the morning before going to class and having to go to practice and do all that sort of stuff to not even play my freshman year.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of mindset a lot of people just don't have, of like, I'm going to put in all of this work and maybe it will work out, maybe it won't, or maybe it's going to be way delayed down the road. Most people just don't have that kind of mindset to be able to settle in and accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get big on being okay with delayed gratification and putting in a bunch of work. It's kind of like that one guy, you know, that one meme of the guy that's like hacking away
there's like an oil meant to be behind.
Yeah, and he's like, he walks away like frustrated, and there's like this little tiny sliver. That was you.
Yes.
The night before, because I think we had that conversation, and I think you got a deal.
I locked up 2 deals that week. Right?
Yeah, I think you got one like literally the next day, 2 days later. So, yeah, that was super cool.
And to your point again, I want to touch on this too, like what you just said about most people are, 40 hours a week, paycheck, etc. That's another mindset change that I've had, where it's like, now I'm not trading my time for money, I'm trading my skill set for money.
Yeah.
And when you're trading your skill set for money, the better you get at those skills that are high income skills, the amount of money you make for your time is infinite. It keeps growing, right? And a perfect explanation of that is this Lakeland deal that I locked up last week, and I sold it. It's my first ever dispo. I sold it 2 days ago. I sold it. And I sold that with a text message, Like, again, not a crazy big deal. It was a $5K deal, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that it's my first dispo. And the fact that I made $5,000 with the text message.
Yeah.
That's skill set value trading for money, not time trading for money.
Yeah.
It was like, I sent a text message and made $5,000.
Yeah.
That's a huge shift from what I always thought was possible for me. So, yeah.
Yep. And it might come slowly at first, but the skills that you're building, like you said, they're infinite, right? Because they compound, your skills continue, your knowledge continues to improve, and it's like your earning capacity just continues to go up and up and up. It's unlimited.
The better you get at the skill set, and the better you get at delegating and scaling a business, the more money you're going to make.
Yep, exactly. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into systems and the things that you're doing now, because again, the kind of the theme of this podcast and this episode is like, talent is great. Sales talent is awesome. And that's exactly what Aman had. And that's why he's a killer now that he's figured out the other pieces of the puzzle. But that in itself is not enough, right? And when you start to actually do this business on your own, you realize that you can't rely on talent alone if you're the one responsible for going and pulling that list, generating that lead, handling all the TC stuff, all the lead qualification, every step of the process. You have to have systems. So let's talk about what kind of systems you're using now that you weren't using before, and like what kind of metrics and things that you're tracking that maybe you weren't doing.
Sure. Systems, I've changed up everything. I'm pulling lists differently. The way you showed me, my dialer's different. The dialer that you showed me to use. Even SOPs for callers, I'm using all the SOPs that you've given me. So all those systems are pretty much copy-paste from what your business model is, which side point that works for me, because that's the business model I'm trying to replicate.
Right.
Your business model is exactly the model I'm trying to replicate, even down to company culture. Like the way you run your company, the way you have Gabe and Orlando and all these, like, it feels like a family. Like, it feels like an actual family, Like, I have no doubt in my mind that Gabe and Orlando could struggle for 3 months and you would never turn your back on them. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to replicate. So a lot of similar systems and processes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of what I'm tracking, I've become really obsessed and big on tracking things recently. I track everything. I track from start. My data, I have them all into different buckets now, different list types. How many lists, which lists are providing the most amount of leads? How many of those leads are turning into like the sales process, right? And what I'm tracking there is phone calls, obviously, from all my callers. Contact rate, that's the most important metric probably that we learned, is that it tells you a lot about your list quality, your phone numbers, your callers, everything. Contact rate, how many leads I'm getting per phone calls, and contact rate, and all those different things, or like how many homeowners are speaking to and how many of those things are turning into leads. To then when it comes into my system, I'm even tracking all of that.
Yeah.
How many leads did I get? How many of those did I actually contact and speak to? How many of those did I qualify enough to make a discovery call? Yeah. How many of those discovery calls did I qualify enough to deem that this is worth giving an offer to? And then you could see, like, I have like a whole manual spreadsheet now where you'll see the whole chain, where it's like lead comes in. I have, let's say, 20 leads. I contacted 16 of them. I decided 8 of them are worthy enough to do a discovery call. I decided out of those 8 discovery calls, I only made an offer to 7 of them because one of them felt like a time waster.
Yeah.
Out of those 7, I got 1 contract and I sold that deal this week.
Yeah.
Now it's like you just reverse all that. You know what I mean? And that's how you can really get to scaling. If I want to get to this many contracts, I need to make this many offers. And if I want to make this many offers, I need to qualify and discovery and process this many people. In order to do that, I have to contact this many people. In order to contact some people, I need 40 leads to get to 2 deals. And that's just, I'm becoming again, I'm not great at all that yet because I'm still very focused on the phones.
Yeah.
But I know as I get more into like actually being a business operator,
Right.
I'm going to get obsessed with the number stuff.
Right.
It's super cool seeing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's very cool to see the transition from like just being a hustler to being a full-time real estate entrepreneur to now, I mean, you said you have 3 virtual assistants now. I'm sure you give it another couple months, that'll probably double.
Yeah.
You'll probably bring in some like lead manager, you'll be a dispo guy, and then it like actually really is a business.
Yeah.
Where KPIs and SOPs and the things that which if you guys don't know, KPI, key performance indicators, just little numbers that you track day in, week out, all that sort of stuff. And then SOPs, standard operating procedures, which is documenting the things that you have, because that's one of the big things that I learned.
Yeah.
Like it's a big difference between being a wholesaler and like getting deals done versus building a system that does deals. And you have to learn to take the business out of your head and put it on paper. And that was a problem for me because I was like, it's easy. Why can't you guys just do it? Like, but it's because I had everything in my head and I had years of experience.
Yeah.
Where when you bring on employees that don't have that kind of experience, you have to lay out the roadmap for them. So but yeah, it's cool, man, to see your transition from I mean, just in the last 6 months. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, man. I'm very sharp to it. So
thank you.
What does a normal day look like for you now? As far as the day-to-day activities that you're doing, and what's something that you make sure you're doing every day, no matter what?
Day-to-day hasn't changed much yet. I'm still on the phones. I guess I'm not on the dialer anymore. I'm not cold calling, not following memorials. It's mainly just processing new leads that come in, deciding which buckets to put them in, make offers, get contracts, and then work on the dispo side of trying to sell those contracts. Yeah. That's really it. You made a point earlier about upping my cold callers and bringing on dispo. That's something I really want to do this year because I want to start, hopefully by the end of the year, start selling some of my own deals. Like, yeah, JVing is great, but if I want to build $1 million wholesale, I can't JV forever. Yeah, no. So day to day is it's like I was an acquisition back 3 years ago. I'm still dialing, selling new sellers. And dude, even when like I'm not one of those people that like I'm sitting around like I'm only waiting for new leads. I have like 2,000 leads in my system now. If things are dry, I'm hunting. I'm still hunting. Like I'm still in buckets of like people that had intent 6 months ago. More like I keep my buckets very organized, and I'm still full on sales mode, like hunting me day in, day out. I would like to have that change within 2 years. Hopefully, bring on some acquisition guys and get off the phones. Obviously, that's the main reason why I started the business. You asked me that question earlier too, why I left. Another reason was, I was making really good money in Miami, but I was still busting my ass to do so. I was 7 days a week grinding, The whole point of starting a business is so you could take your not foot off the gas, but you're not in the business doing the growing.
You can build something that serves you whether you're working or not.
Exactly. So I would like to get off the phones at some point, but right now I'm still heavily sales mode, hunting.
Yeah.
Networking has been huge for me, but I wanted to touch on that here too.
Yeah.
But the fact that I dispoed my own deal for the first time, that was all networking, And like, I wanted to talk about the importance of investing in yourself. That's something that I see so many people struggle with, even in my personal life or friends that come to me for advice. And it's like, they all want to improve. Everyone wants to get better. But when it comes down to actually making the investment into yourself, that's where it's like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It costs too much or it's too much time. Dude, I spent over 5 figures in the last year probably on coaching and being a part of networking groups and things like that. I had 0 regrets because those were the returns on that is infinite, Like I joke about this now, but it's like with you, like, I paid you that whatever, $7-8 that I paid you to join the program. And I never looked at it as an expense. It was always like, even if this program is a complete scam and I get nothing good out of this, I know there's going to be one piece of information that you're going to tell me and it's going to help me.
You'll be able to make your money back. Yeah.
It's going to lead to more deals and that return is infinite.
Yeah.
That return will be infinite.
Yeah.
So that's how I always viewed it. And like I said, even this deal I just did in Lakeland, your systems and processes brought the deal in, and me being a part of Above Asking sold the deal.
It's a Mark and Keeler.
Shout out Mark and Keeler, shout out Above Asking. But being a part of that group is what sold the deal.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a part of that group, I don't know if I probably wouldn't have sold that deal. We kind of looked at it and it was a bit of a tighter deal.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a part of this, that lead would have never came in. So just invest in yourself. Don't be scared to do so. It's the best investment you can make, especially if you're younger and have big goals.
Right. Well, and if you're planning to actually act on the information that you're getting, because
Exactly.
that's, I mean, you go out and not to get into the school systems and stuff, but like people go and they spend $100,000 on a college degree in business to go learn from a professor that doesn't own a business.
No.
Like, and people will go do that, but then they won't spend 5,000, 10,000 on like a coach or a community or a mastermind or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can pay money to get into the room with somebody who's done what you want to do and can show you how to do it, it's just compressing time, because you can figure it out. Like,
Yes.
I have no doubt that you would have figured all this out by yourself.
Probably.
It just would have taken you longer.
Exactly.
You're paying to shortcut that.
Yeah.
Pay to feed off of the mistakes that I've made so that you can shortcut it and not have to go through them and learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And yeah, it's what you said earlier. Like I'm big on opportunity cost and cutting that down as much as I can.
Right. The opportunity cost of being able to shorten the timeline and then take advantage of opportunities that are in front of you now.
Yeah.
That if you didn't have the connections or the support or whatever it is, you might miss out on that opportunity completely.
Yeah.
And then that makes the whatever you saved by not joining this mastermind or investing in yourself, it's like that looks pretty small in comparison to the missed opportunity that you have.
You know where you messed up though? Only charging us once. Because now in 30 years, I'm still gonna be blowing you up. If I see you buy a mega yacht in 30 years, I'll be blowing you up and saying, "Yo, how did you get that? Like I paid you 30 years ago to show me how to get that. So like, whatever it is,
I did say it was a lifetime mentor.
I need that information right now. So
Maybe we'll have to change that down the road for new people.
I'm not giving me a
No, of course, not you guys. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. The other question I had about that, kind of going into the community, and I know is one that you wanted to talk about, like how did the accountability aspect of being in a community of around people that are on a similar mission, how did that change your execution and at the end of the day the results you got?
It helped a lot. Mainly because I'm a very competitive person. I try not to show it too much because I never want to rub anyone the wrong way. But I'm a very hyper competitive person. I always have been.
Yeah.
It's funny because growing up, I was always told that it was a bad thing,
Yeah.
or that it was too much, or that I'm doing too much. But I'm unapologetically now competitive, relentless. Like I want to win, And obviously, like getting in the program and seeing Nate and his success last year, that motivated me so much. I loved it, which I love it for him. I want him to keep killing it. And I think that accountability between me and him has been big for me. Like to have the back and forth. Like we'll text each other in the chat every like, "Yo, what's your revenue at? How many deals have you done? Like what was the profit?" He's the same way. When I posted about the Lakeland deal, first person to swipe up was Nate. He was like, "How much was it?" He was like, "How much was the deal?" I was like, "Don't worry about it, kid. Like leave me alone." No, I told him. But no, I love it. I love the I love the competition. I love healthy competition. Obviously, we're not stepping on each other's toes. Like we both want each other to win. We're doing deals together.
Yeah.
He helps me with my numbers. I help him with sales, whatever we need,
Yeah, of course.
But there's a healthy competition of like, yo, like, I want to beat you out this month. I want to beat you out this quarter, So that has helped. Another thing, I've never really struggled with accountability. And throughout my life, I think I'm harder on myself than anyone would ever be.
Yeah.
Like I am mental, like to myself. Like if you hear the way I talk to myself, it's crazy. Like I just made 50 grand this month and I am not proud of myself. That's nothing to me. Like I'm telling myself, kid, you haven't done anything. You have so many more levels that you have to get to. Don't celebrate this.
Yeah.
Work, So I've never struggled with accountability because I've always been so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Again, I admit, not the healthiest thing because I'm in a constant state of maybe not the happiest because I always have things I need to do and levels I need to reach. But that mentality is also what leads me from almost being homeless to having an apartment with the best view in the city in 9 months.
Right.
It's also the reason why I've always gotten everything I've ever wanted, whether it's a car, or a relationship, or a situation, a business, woman. I've gotten everything I've ever wanted in my life. So it's like the trade-off,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love it, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so when you first went out on your own, what do you think was the biggest mindset shift from being an acquisitions agent for a company to an entrepreneur that's out on their own and responsible for everything?
The biggest mindset shift was I I would say understanding all the different facets of the business that I'm going to eventually have to learn, and not letting that overwhelm me. Because again, it's like I'm not
Cancer, dude.
yeah, as an acquisitions agent, again, like I said, I'm worried about one thing.
Yeah.
Lead comes in, close the deal, forget about it. Literally forget about it until I see it on the board as a sold deal, you know? But now as a business owner, I am doing everything. And right now it's still kind of just me, right? So I'm still really doing everything, like the marketing, the lead gen, the people management, the sales, the contracts, the trying to figure out dispo, the transaction coordinating, such an underrated part of it that people love, the transaction coordinating, the dealing with issues. You know, even by my old company, like if a seller ever threatened to back out of a deal or there were issues and stuff, I never dealt with that.
Hey, I wasn't your problem.
Take it to the manager. Take it to my manager. He was a magician on the phones. Problem solved, and in a day the problem was solved.
Yeah.
My money was saved. You know. Now it's like every single problem is my problem. Yeah. And you could relate. Yeah, you've talked to us about that. Every single problem is your problem, and you're the only one that could solve that problem.
Yeah.
So it's like you're wearing so many different hats, and you have to get good at least decent at all of those hats.
Do you have maybe a newfound respect for your old boss? And
Oh, dude, absolutely.
do you think a lot of acquisitions agents underestimate what the owner actually goes through?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll talk to them directly here. Like what you guys have to balance and what you guys have done to get that company from where it was to where it's at now. Like that's hard. Like that's hard, bro. Like I'm being on the other side of it. Obviously now it's like when I'm in that seat, obviously you're looking at, oh, like there may be so much money and all these different things and say, I could be making that much money.
Yeah.
And you go and you do it and you realize the grass is not greener.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm still happier
Yeah.
in this role because of the way I'm wired and the way I am as a person. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I love this.
But objectively, you understand the concept.
Objectively, it's way harder than being an acquisition agent.
Yeah.
Way harder and less fruitful, I might add. Like dude, if I stayed at that company, I could have made close to $300,000 last year. Close to that. I could have made that, you know, and not have to worry about any of this extra stuff that I'm worrying about now.
Right.
But that's just not how I'm wired.
Yeah.
How I'm more. I see the long term of in 5 years, I could be making $1 million a year.
Right.
I see the long term vision. But no, a lot of respect for everyone that runs a business. A lot of respect for people that have big teams that they have to manage and balance and make sure is running smoothly, especially when you get to a level where you have so much overhead.
Yeah.
That gets stressful, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm spending like my overhead's like 4 or 5K a month right now, and I'm stressed about that. Like I can only imagine where you're at. Like you have to do 2 good deals a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could skate by if not doing deals for 2 months right now, or I'll be fine, right now.
Yeah.
So I know like as I scale and as I get to a point where I'm spending $100,000 a month on marketing, it's going to be a totally different game.
Yeah.
And I have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Because the grass is not greener on this side. Like it's a lot.
There's no ceiling, but there's also no floor when you're the owner. Like you can make as much as you want, or you can lose it all and go into debt. So it's just, I mean, it's not everybody, like we talked about a couple of different times in this podcast, like not everybody's meant for that. And that's completely okay. Like there's plenty of situations. I mean, my acquisitions manager throughout the years, there's been times where like maybe we had a tough few months or a tough couple quarters where like I lost money as the owner, but he still made like 10 grand in commissions.
Yeah.
So it's like in situations like that, obviously we have those months where we make 200,000 and it looks really good for me.
Yeah.
But there's also some months in the past where I lose money, but my acquisitions manager makes money. So it's just like, what are you able to handle as far as like risk, as far as stress? Because I think that's one of the big things. Like you have, you know, the people that are working in the company, obviously they, in most situations, have to work harder, right? From an output perspective or an input perspective, like they're doing more on a day-to-day, but the owner a lot of the time is dealing with a lot more mentally, like the financial stress. You know, once you get into lawsuits, you start dealing with all of that sort of stuff. And it's like, if we don't do, whether or not we do deals this month, I still got lawyer fees, I still got overhead, I still got all this sort of stuff. So it just, what struggle do you want to have?
Yeah.
And for somebody like you, it's obvious that just having a high salary is not enough.
But it was never enough.
Yeah.
And I was making good money in Miami. It still was. I was living a good life too.
Yeah.
A lot of people at 23 years old aren't living that kind of life. They always live in it.
Absolutely. And if I was making that kind of money at 23, it'd have been hard for me to move or leave a company.
And that's the funny thing about that. That's when I realized like that's the trap. Like I got a high income job at a young age, and I use that to start living the lifestyle of the high income earner. And that's when I realized, oh my God, like I've trapped myself.
The Matrix got you.
Yeah, literally, like this is the trap. Like give me a little bit of good money.
Yeah.
I'm stable, I'm comfortable, and I'll never want more again. And that's that's just something that I realized, like, no, I can't let this happen to me. I'm too young, I'm too ambitious, I'm too driven to let this stop me. Which is a funny thing. Another point to add to your question about why I left, right? There was a night where I was on my balcony, like in my apartment. I was staring out at like the city. That's my favorite thing to do in the apartment, right? Rent was crazy and it was so worth it. I would do it again. I don't regret living in that building. I would totally do it again. But I was staring out at the city and I was just like, because this is when the thoughts had started of like, oh, maybe I could go do this for myself. Maybe I could go do this for myself. And I remember I was staring and I was just like, it was kind of similar to my school story where I was like, I'm in school and I'm studying. I was like, no, I want more than this. And my mind was like, no, this is what you need to do. Very similar. It was like, I feel like I could go do it myself. And then my mind kept telling me, no, you can't. Like, that's not for you. Just shut up, take the good money, take the comfort, stay here. You have a long-term career path here where you could end up making a lot of money. Just shut up and be happy, And that was one of the reasons why I quit, because I caught myself doubting myself.
Yeah.
I caught myself doubting myself, and I was like, hold up. Do I have to prove myself wrong? All right, let's go do that. Let's go do that. Yeah, it was. I remember that moment where I was like, yeah, I can't be the one to doubt myself.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are already doubting me. My family, a lot of people are already doubting me. I can't be the one to do it to myself. Now I have to go, because I can't prove myself right.
Yeah.
So
I got to tell you, man, I haven't met many people with the mindset that you have, and to have it at your age it's impressive, and that's why you've done what you've done, and it's why you have a very bright future ahead of you. So yeah, just wanted to say that, man.
Thank you.
You got a good head on your shoulders.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So I think we were texting about it yesterday. Since you joined the program, what's the total income?
I think it was 80 grand total.
80 grand in that
in the last 6 months.
The last 6 months. Oh,
Not even 5 months.
5 months. I mean, that's pretty great for somebody who's just getting started out on their own. $46,000 last month.
Yeah.
Super, super impressive, dude. And I'm super excited to see what 2026 has for you. I think that's going to be big. Obviously, already off to a great start.
Yeah.
What if you could go and speak to Aman when you were on that balcony in Miami, making good money, but not quite feeling fulfilled and wondering if there was something more? If you could go back and speak to that person, or if there's somebody that's listening to this that I'm sure is in a similar situation, what would you tell them?
Take the risk. Take the risk, especially if you're young. Please take the risk. Dude, and I'm someone that has taken a lot of risk, and I built a lot at this point. Like I said, my journey started 2 years ago, technically, and I've put so much into these 2 years. Bro, there are so many things I regret. I regret going to college. I wish I never went to college. I wish right after high school, I moved to Miami and I started in sales somewhere. And I had quit again, started my company at 20 years old. Where would I be right now at 25? You know what I mean? So take the risk as early as you can. If you know you want to do something, go chase it. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for people around you to support you, because they're probably not going to. I can attest to that. And prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. And I've told you this. I have a list. I have a list of people that I have to prove wrong. Like I have a physical list that I have like on my computer that I have on there that I need to prove wrong. You know what I mean? So don't wait for permission. Go chase it. Invest in yourself. We talked about that earlier. That's a big one. Please invest and don't be scared. Obviously, be smart about it. I'm not saying go online and buy coaching, anyone's coaching and courses. That's not what I'm saying. If you know someone that's trusted and is good, don't be afraid to spend the money to learn from them. That's a big thing that I've learned. Don't be afraid to join networking events and networking groups, even if it costs a little bit of money. Because that investment into yourself, the return is literally infinite. Like it's quite literally uncapped and infinite. Like there's no ROI on that because it's infinite. So invest in yourself. Stay consistent. That's a big thing. Don't start something and quit. Don't try to do 6 different business models. And I caught myself doing that. I've done drop shipping and this and marketing and all these different things. And at a certain point, I kind of realized, like, why do I keep switching from thing to thing? And it's because I realized a lot of people do that because maybe they're scared to put in the real work. It's like you said, expecting quick success. You try something for a month, you don't get success, you move on to the next thing. Right. When in reality, there's success in everything.
Yeah.
Everything works.
Yep.
That's something I've learned, especially in wholesaling. Every marketing channel, like we talk about, works. You just have to be good at it and do it for long enough. So don't try to do 20 different things. Pick something that you're good at, something you know you want to do, and just stick at it for 10 years. Literally stick at it for 10 years, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. What else? What else? What else? Volume negates luck. I saw an Alex Hermobi quote a while back, and I've really learned that volume really does negate luck. Like the more volume you do, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
The more sellers I talk to, the higher my chances are to deal.
Yep.
And I love this one. This one I love. Another Alex Hermosi gem, and he says, "Luck is just when preparation meets opportunity."
Yep.
Right. Opportunities come to everybody. They always come, but if you're not prepared to seize it, then you're not going to get lucky. You know what I mean? Like the opportunity came for me to quit my job and do this. And the opportunity came, even getting my job there. Like the opportunity came. Funny story about that. When I was supposed to go into the interview, I was sure the company was like a scam. And I was like, kind of like, no, like, I don't know if I want to take this interview. If I hadn't taken that interview, I wouldn't be sitting here. I don't know where I'd be right now. Probably would have figured something out knowing who I am. But
Yeah.
So preparation, like be prepared for when that opportunity comes and seize it. Take the risk and seize it. So yeah, I mean, I could keep going, but
Yeah. I mean, we got some great stuff. These opportunities when they're in front of you,
yes,
commit to something. If you can't be consistent for at least 6 months as an entrepreneur, don't bother doing it.
yeah,
Go get a job. If you can't be consistent for something for 6 months, don't even try.
yeah,
So take advantage of opportunities and bet on yourself. Be consistent.
prove people wrong.
Prove people wrong.
Invest in yourself. Don't be scared to invest in yourself. Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that was a ton of value. Aman, thank you for coming out, man. I was super proud of what you've done so far. And so far, I know that 2026 is going to be huge for you, and this is just the beginning. So, again, man, thank you very much for coming on to sharing your story. I think that'll really resonate with a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people out there that probably are in a situation like you where they're wanting to know if they can make that jump. Maybe it's not in real estate, but they're in some kind of position where they're making good money, but they don't feel like that's where they're called to be.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be a great story for them. Guys, if you have any questions, send a comment. I'll put our Instagrams under there, and I'll see you guys in the next video of HUD Up or Shut Up.